Guys, what is up? And welcome back to part two of the psychology behind your weight loss. If you don't know me, my name is Coach Bonds. I'm the host of the Breakdown with Bonds, owner of Mind Embody Fitness, a women's holistic fitness company that is committed to holistic fitness for women. For too long, what I've noticed in the industry is that we expect everyone to fit into cookie cutter packages. And that's not just fitness, that's just capitalism. Because the way that you make money and the way that you are successful and grow rapidly is that you're able to package things up and get people moving through the line like cattle herds or whatever that phrase is. And when I became a trainer, one of the reasons why I became a trainer was because I saw this. I peeped this early on in, and it made me incompatible with the trainers that would try to put me into their little programs. That's not who I am as a human, and I'm not alone. There are plenty of women out here who don't fit well into those programs. And so my focus, my goal, my intention with Mind and Body Fitness, with this podcast, and even with this series is to help you see that, hey, maybe you're not the one with the issues. Maybe this society that thinks we should all do things the same way is the issue. But not only that, what is your issue, if you will? What is the core, the root meaning? How do we get here? How do we undo this so that we can never be back in this place again? That is the work. That is what the work is all about. That's what I do with women when it comes to their fitness journeys. And too often they are taught that it's just about their calories and it's just about exercise and movement. And for the vast majority of the population, yes, this is true. Kind of like how BMI was an accurate representation of someone's body weight. It was true for the people that it was made for. But you, sweetheart, probably chances are, if I popped up in your feed, if I resonated with you, or if you rock with me in any way, shape, or form, I'm gonna go ahead and believe that you don't fit those little boxes and that you have been looking to figure out what is the real reason for you as well. So let's recap. We've done episode one of this series, which was literally filmed like 2 or 3 weeks ago because my life is all over the place from traveling to Cali for the Jubilee thing to breaking up and unbreaking up with my girlfriend to my son moving out and then her moving into his room. Like life has just been so much. So I do apologize for the lack of consistency. However, if you are a fan of shorts and little short videos, I have been flooding my channel with lots of workout videos and lots of little mini Coach Bond's breakdown. So hopefully that will suffice. But I'm also learning that I need to go live for these. Otherwise, they're not getting edited. I legit have like 4 20-minute, maybe 6 20-minute podcasts that I have to edit. And I'm looking for someone to edit them for me because I can't, my brain. Okay, so to recap from last week's episode, we were talking about the psychology of weight loss, and I was introducing you guys to a concept of the core human needs. Now, if you've been around for a while following me, or if you've been in the personal development space at all, you know Tony Robbins, and please don't kill me, but I'm taking from him the wisdom that I got, and he introduced this concept of the four human needs, right? And the four human needs basically say we have people who need to operate off of certainty, people that absolutely need it, like the type A personalities, the people who get anxious when something's different. Like I had a client text me the other day and tell me the app that we use changed because it changed the font and it updated. Everything's still the same, it's just, it's prettier. And she texted me and she's like, whoa, this freaked me out. No warning. And I was like, do you want them to send you a warning the next time they go to update their app? People like that something being off could throw them off completely. And then you have the exact opposite people who their primary need is chaos. People like me are uncertainty or variety, where we cannot, like the 9 to 5. The reason why I was such a great server or loved serving was because even though I hated serving, at least I didn't have to go into a cubicle or a desk or office and look at the same motherfuckers every single day. No, I got to go in and meet new people every single day. I don't know who I'm going to be serving with. I don't know what section I'm going to be in. Every day was like a surprise. And I can now see how that kept me in not the best work conditions, but it was meeting a need. See where I'm going with this? The next set of people are the ones that need significance. And these are people who, I'm just going to list some reasons why they might need to feel significant. This could be people who were adopted. This could be people who were ignored their whole life. Like I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. And it doesn't even have to be like that. It could be people who just were overlooked. Like they're the reason. It's not important about how you got here. The point is, if that's one of your human needs, significance, the people that have to get the followers, that have to get the views, that have to get the likes, or overthink why people aren't paying them any attention, or just need to be known. And this could even be me too. Significance. And then the last one is connection, where these might be the people who are in and out of relationships because they just can't be alone. They have to be connected to somebody. And again, this sounds like me. We all have some of these. Some of us, this is our primary need. The connection people love to be thrive in community. They thrive in those types of surroundings as we all do, but they really need it. Like they really, 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 really need it. And again, I thrive in community, but I can also be like disconnected and have water to look at like I am now, and I'll be happy. Sorry, I need help. No, so those are the four human needs. We got certainty, we have uncertainty, we have significance, and then you have connection. Those drivers, the reason why they're important is because what your brain considers to be a need is like life or death. So if you tell your brain, this is what's important, this is what I need, and even if you don't tell it, if you move in such a way that this is what's being communicated, then that's what's going to be communicated. Your brain learns by what it sees you prioritize. And if you are constantly prioritizing the need to feel seen more so than the need to be correct, right? Think influencers or whatever. Then it's clear that your primary need is significance, even if you say you don't care about the views. If your primary need, right, is variety, right, and options, right, and uncertainty, but then you try to go work a 9 to 5 and you wonder why you can't work this and it's driving you insane. It's because like I'm not saying those kind of people can't work 9 to 5s, but what I am saying is that it would be advantageous for them to go find an afternoon or weekend activity or to hop on flights at random and spontaneously. That's a way that they could balance that out. I'm getting too deep now. But you see what I mean? If you do something and you move in such a way long enough consistently, your brain now is like, hey, this is what's important to her or him. You put it on autopilot, and now it's not something that you really have to think about anymore. So if you want to hear more about that, that's on episode 1 of this series. And it was the psychology of weight loss, the four human needs. Okay. This week, though, we're going deeper and we're talking about why some of you may prefer chaos over change, or why you may prefer certainty over any sort of flexibility, or why those needs that I mentioned. And the answer is real simple. It's that we all have this emotional home. And the concept of an emotional home is just saying that like your nervous system is always going to go back to where it feels at home. You could even call this the path of least resistance. You could call it whatever you want, but we're, for the purpose of this podcast, we're going to call it an emotional home, where your nervous system will automatically recalibrate and go back to when it can, when it feels like something is unfamiliar. So your nervous system could be calibrated to chaos. Your nervous system could be calibrated to suffering. Ooh. Your nervous system could be calibrated to, and this is so spot on, to functioning on little to no sleep. Your nervous system could be calibrated to you functioning on little to no water and fluids and being perpetually dehydrated. Your nervous system could be calibrated to you. There's a number of things that we have gotten comfortable with that your body has just kind of adapted to. And it's like, this is our norm, whether it's right or not. This happens with people with money, like their nervous systems are used to being broke. So when they get money, they just splurge it or just do like it's so crazy to watch, right? So it happens when people win the lottery. Their nervous system is calibrated to living below their means. And now overnight, they've been given more money than they know what to do with. A good example of this is when my friends would go. I have a friend that lives in the DR, Dominican Republic, and before he moved down here, he said, actually, this is a totally different story, but another friend of mine who was in DR was saying that they wanted to tip the staff and like over tip them, but somebody was like, if you do that, you will ruin those people's lives. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if it's super culturally insensitive or politically incorrect, I'm here for it. But one of the things that he said was like, imagine this person is used to working for like a very minimal amount of money. And now you're going to go give him not only just a good tip in his money, but a good tip in like US dollars. This dude's going to go, there's all things that could happen to him. He could be a target now. He could be robbed. He could go spend his money. I don't know. Someone was trying to say he goes spend it on drugs, which I thought was very disempowering to think that just because someone gets money, they're going to go run to the drug house unless they're already on drugs. Why would they do that? But the point is, we operate in a way that we have consistently operated. A phrase that I love to tell my clients is that you will never be able to consistently show up in a way that is inconsistent with the way that you view yourself. This is another way to view the emotional home. This is the state that your nervous system is going to return to because this is where it has felt safe for years, even if it's not great. So when we say that we want peace in our life, but we still bring in chaotic partners and friends and something's always going wrong, it's because chaos feels like home to us. And we may be subconsciously creating circumstances in our own lives that bring chaos and not even be paying attention to it because that's just the norm. It's just the norm. You don't know anything different. And this is what happens with women on their weight loss journey. They don't know anything different. It's the norm. So when people get off of something like Ozempic, or when people get off of something like a diet, if they have not done the work to create the foundation for a healthy lifestyle, right? Or for healthy living, they're going to return back to where they were the first time, not because they can't seem to keep the weight off, not because there's something wrong with their body, but because that's their emotional home. For decades, as an adult, this person has lived sedentary. For decades, this person has lived and pause. Let me put a pin in that for a moment. Your psychology and your physiology are the same thing. They are one, they are the two sides of the same coin, right? Like they are the same thing. So when you are not moving a lot, right? When you're depressed, when you're sleepy, when you're tired, I don't know which one chicken egg first came, but it's like a conversation that goes back and forth. Your brain is sad, so it kind of tells your body power down. We're not moving today. We're not doing anything. Or maybe I think it was the brain. I don't know why I said chicken and the egg. But what your brain considers to be the truth, your body experiences as reality. There was a phrase that was like knowledge is for the brain and experience is for the body. So we can know that we should work out, can know that we'll exercise, but it won't become like a part of us until we experience it with the body. And too often we walk around with this knowing of things that we should do, but we don't ever actually experience it. So anywho, going back to the psychology and the physiology, right? They go hand in hand. And so if you have spent the last decade, 20, 30, 40 years of your life being an inactive person, being someone that looks at people running and looks at it like, oh, that looks like it could be me, or oh, I can never do the gym, whatever it is, you've created an emotional home that is contrary to that. If you spent your life critiquing or criticizing people that work out all the time and eat healthy, or if you are a bigger girl and you spent your life calling skinny girls skinny bitches, or something like that, like that's you've created this world where that is your reality, where working out is where eating healthy is like for me, and I remember I used to say YOLO all the time. I would be like, oh, when it came to food, like YOLO, I'm gonna have this bacon and this Coca-Cola pack. YOLO. Um, and so that was my home. That was the emotional home that I created, was that I eat healthy and YOLO, and running is it. And so that was my reality. And so it makes sense that when we're always running away from pain or running towards pleasure. And so it makes sense that during my weight loss journeys, where I was running towards the pleasure of being skinny while also somehow trying to simultaneously run away from the pain of dieting, when I finished that back and forth yo yo cognitive dissonance mental gymnastics, I would go back to my emotional home of YOLO because I knew something that I should eat healthier, but I hadn't truly experienced it for myself. I hadn't experienced the effects of eating healthy and how great it was going to be. So that's why I, like many women, ended up back where I was. But it gets so much deeper than that. It gets so much deeper than just me saying, "Oh, I like to eat unhealthy, so this is where I go back to." That's more of a habit situation. I want to talk about your emotions, but your habits are a product of your emotions. But let's peel it back a little bit. So think about how when we are women raised in instability, right? Let me rephrase that. Women in society have been taught, and almost all of us in capitalism have been taught that productivity is a necessity. If you're not producing something, if you're not making money, if you're not making a difference, then what are you doing? Why are you here? What is the value you're bringing to the table? And so, for a lot of women, the emotional home that has been created is that if I'm not functioning, moving, providing, producing, then I don't have any value. And what this creates is this anxious environment within yourself, within your world, right? So when you come to me, a holistic fitness coach who hears your plans and your goals of wanting to lose 30 or 40 pounds, I know the science. I know that if this person does A, B, C, and D, they can look forward to losing a half a zero 0.5 to 2 pounds a week if they can do all of the things that need to happen for that to happen. That doesn't usually happen very often, especially not in the beginning. Why? Because most women are living in their emotional homes and they've hired me to help take them out of it, but they don't even realize that. They think they've hired me to teach them how to work out. And I'm like, baby girl, you could go to Crunch and get one of those trainers that was certified on Saturday, the day of. Let me stop throwing shade. There are real good trainers there. I was one of them. But I'm saying, like, if you are hiring someone like me or reaching out to a holistic practitioner, know that we're not just going to, like, we're not here to just try to make you push past your trauma to heal. I'm the person that understands that your trauma is the reason why you haven't been able to lose the weight. And so coming to me and acting like we're just about to bulldoze past all the actual things that are the reason why you have been in this hamster wheel is absolutely crazy. And I still to this day, I don't understand why people hire me and don't expect me to push on their preconceived notions or their limiting beliefs about themselves. But let's get back on track. If you're raised to think that you have to be productive, you're going to always want to put pressure on something. You're going to always want to see results, even in your weight loss journey. Like instead of just enjoying the journey, instead of seeing, oh my gosh, I woke up and I have more energy than I have ever. Oh my gosh, my skin is clearing up. Oh my gosh, I feel stronger. I can. Instead of noticing anything else that's happening, we've been conditioned to be like, well, did I lose the weight? Well, where are the numbers? Where are the stats? Where's the proof? And I think that's probably why me as a person, I'm so like turned off by stats and numbers. And like whenever I'm pitching, people are like, you need to add some stats in there, Bonds. You need to add this. You can't just have your experimental or your lived experiences as antidotes. And I'm like, they're not fucking antidotes. They're like one lived experience that mirrors everybody else's that y'all aren't paying attention to because they don't fit your model because you can't easily package people off and send them off and your little programs. So, yeah, with that said, ladies, you don't have to always be putting up weight loss numbers every week on your fitness journey to be productive. Okay. And that's what I can tell you right now that is a plague. That is something that's plaguing one of my oldest. And I mean, like, oldest, like we've been together for a hot minute. And she may be the oldest right now, is that she has a very high demand it's a demand stressful job, right? They demand a lot out of her. So when she comes to me, she has that same energy to me, like, well, where's this and what's this? Da, 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 da. And I'm like, girl, I need you to calm down because that's not going to make you lose weight any faster. Putting pressure on me to rearrange your workout so that you don't have to go downstairs for one of them, that's not going to make a difference in your workout journey at all whatsoever. But it does give you that sense of control that you're looking for. And again, we have human needs. Some of us need that certainty. So it's meeting that need for her to be able to do that, but it's not it's not helping her reach her goals. And that's the point of today, ladies, is that we all have needs that we are always going to meet. This is why you may end up in shitty relationships. This is why we end up staying at jobs that we don't like for so long because there is a core need within us that wants to be met and it hasn't been. So I want you to be real about yourself. What are the need? What is your if you listen to today or the previous episode and you hear the four human needs, what are the ones? What is yours? What is your core need? And if it's not one of those four, it's not one of those four cores. Let's list another, maybe not core need. Like I feel like they all kind of like fall under that category, but I would love to discuss with you guys some other things that you have to bring to the table. But anywho, I want you to think about what your core human need is, and I want you to think about situations where you have sacrificed a lot and or put stuff on the line or disregarded your health to make sure that that need was met, right? Whether it was sacrifice, self abandonment, so that you could stay connected to a partner, self abandonment, so that you could be significant, right? Denying your own morals so that you could, for notoriety, right? Or self abandonment so that you could be recognized at work for being the hardest ball busting woman out there, right? Um, there's a myriad of things that we have done or reasons why we have abandoned ourselves in the pursuit of getting our needs met, and we don't even realize it. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to the psychology of your weight loss. It's not just about pounds in, pounds out. If you're not coming into this fitness journey with a lot of trauma, then sure, work out, listen, eat, boom, you're done. But if you're someone who is like the women that I particularly sounded so weird, particularly work with, then lost my train of thought. Sorry. If that's you, if that's where we are, then I need you to get real with yourself and start answering some of these tough questions before you start to try to lose weight, because they're always going to show up, and this is why you're always going to be on the hamster wheel, because you go back to what feels normal. And if being overweight feels normal to you, then that's where you're going to go back to. If not exercising every single day feels normal to you, the stagnancy in your life, the stagnancy in your personal development, that's your emotional home. Being a stagnant person, then that's where you'll return to every single time. Okay. So let's go ahead and lock in some science and I'll wrap it up. What are the main reasons, aside from everything that I just listed to you, about why having a dude, my brain just keeps going blank, about why, good lord, when it comes to the science, right? It's not just about the psychological reasons why you stay in the hamster wheel. The other reason why we don't want you, or why it's harmful to your fitness journey for you to stay in this emotional roller coaster or hamster wheel, is because it's stressful. If you feel like you have to be productive and constantly losing weight and constant pressure to lose weight and be perfect or be productive, this psychology directly affects your biochemistry, because you're going to start to release cortisol. We know this. We know you're going to start to release adrenaline. And what this tells your nervous system is we are not in the state for fat burning. We are in the state for fight. I don't know what's going on, but yo, like it's ready to go. I'm ready to pop off. And some of us stay in this state from sun up to sundown. Sun up to sundown. Your body, your nervous system is really cool. It's either going to be on or it's going to be off. Your parasympathetic nervous system, the relax, the rest, digest, heal and deal, what it goes into after eating and after you're relaxing, that's where fat burn happens. But some of you guys are never there because of the stress, because of the emotional home that you're in that's chaotic. Maybe it's not chaotic, but I just want you to think about the emotional state of your home. And if it is chaotic, then this is what's happening to your body. You are in a constant state of stress, and chronic stress rewires your body. We don't have enough time to get into that, but I want you to look up why chronic stress rewires your body and what it does to it. Okay. So this is one of the main reasons why I do a holistic integrated method into my practice. We want to make sure that we're doing breath work, not just to go all woo saw woo, because breath work literally tells your nervous system to calm the fudge down, get out of the fight or flight, and go into the rest and digest in the heal and deal state. But so many of us won't take 5 minutes to stop freaking out and just breathe for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. What's funny is that that's actually how you lose weight. That's where the fat goes, is through your breath. You can go look it up, or we can dive into this in another episode. You let me know. But breath work, grounding yourself. I have a magic rock that I found. I hold it and I think about what I'm grateful for until I can feel my biochemistry change, until I can feel myself get physically happy about what I'm thanking myself for. I don't let go of the rock. That's how easy it is to change your biochemistry. Breath work does the same thing. You can be stressed out, and if you are able to trick, right, your nervous system, I'm gonna call it trick, into, hey, she's not actually stressed. Look at her. Her heart rate's low. It's got no point, or it's got no choice but to respond to your heart rate lowering. Okay. And then other ways that you can um, bring the stress levels down in your life is pleasure. These are things that I talk about in my holistic health coaching program. Each week, we go down a list of one, healthy habits that you have not been able to implement to yourself. And we dig deep, like we did in this episode, to figure out why. Number two, I help them reconnect with their pleasure, because a lot of women have been taught that no pain, no gain, and beauty is pain, or whatever that is. But also, life is meant to be enjoyed. And if you are stressed from work and then you come home and then you're stressed with your kids and then you go to the gym and you talk to your trainer and you're stressed there, there's no pleasure. There's no pleasure in your life. And without pleasure, life is miserable. So, ladies, if your emotional home is a stress filled, chaotic, pleasureless void, I know it sounds weird, but you're not going to lose weight there. You're going to lose weight where you're thriving, where you're happy, where you're healthy, where things are consistent, where you don't feel pressure to change. You can just feel safe to soar and evolve. That's what you need. This is what's going to be the key in you getting to where you want to go, as being able to ground yourself and find pleasure, and to turn your nervous system, set it back, calm it down, convince it that you're not being chased by a lion. You got to learn to do this every single day. And I promise you, as you learn to do this every single day, you will start to see a difference, not only in your health, but on the scale. So Make sure that you name that emotional home. Be real about what it is. My emotional home was chaos and like drama or whatever. Maybe that's yours. Maybe you're so used to the drama that you can't even focus on your body. Whatever it is, name it. And then name what way that you can actually get this need met, or how. Here's a better one. You can actually, you can actually, um, you can tell, you can change your emotional home. Once you name what it is and you see what it is, you can make that decision to create a new emotional home. It takes time and it takes intention. And that's why most people's fitness journeys take so long. You're not just losing weight, you're losing the emotional weight that came with it. So I hope that this episode is valuable for you. If you're not already a subscriber, please make sure to like the video, comment, and let me know what you got value from so that we can touch on this deeper. And if there's anything that I've said in today's episode that you want to dive deeper in, let me know. And I'll see you guys next week. I may hop back on here sooner than later now that I see that streaming goes better for me. But in the meantime, make sure that you share this episode with a woman that could get value from this. And be sure to follow me on other platforms if this conversation was your cup of tea. Till next time, guys, Coach Bonds out.